yeah, you're about to witness, oh yeah, creative interview.
This is Patric Stillman, and today we're here with Optimus Volts. Welcome, Optimus.
Hi, how you doing, Patrick?
Doing great. Tell us a little bit about your background. Where did you come from?
I was born in San Diego, Chula Vista, raised in San Isidro. Just grew up in the kind of like, sort of like bad neighborhoods of San Isidro, street life and stuff like that. Very not educated, right? You can say.
Well, did that influence then your creativity?
Yes, it did. Because I was never into reading or getting into education, so I would always draw, do stuff with Play-Dohs, Legos, anything I can get my hands on, just mess with it, could be creative side. But I was drawing cartoons, as you can say. That was my more passionate time after school. Got to my room, closed the door, and just started messing around with anything I had. Pencils, crayons, whatever art supplies was around that time for me.
Very cool. So when did this sort of cartoon creativity and working with these different kinds of toys start to transform into actually creating visual art?
It started in in high school time. I was mostly drawing and and painting and stuff. Then at that time, I was more getting into the sculpture stuff and doing molding in little things like clay and stuff that the art teachers got me involved with. And they noticed that I was using other stuff other than stuff that was around. Like I used to get makeup to paint stuff and different like brick and block, cement and stuff like that. Just they saw something in me and they were like, "What are you doing with this material?" That they're using either paints, charcoals, clay and stuff like that. And that got me dedicated to find other items that are laying around. And
so using untraditional materials came early, and it's become a permanent part of your expression, I would say.
yes. And the main reason was it was for economic basis. I didn't have enough money to buy the supplies, traditional art supplies, like even when I went to school and people were like using charcoal pencils, I was using hand-me-downs, makeup pens and makeup, or a piece of burnt branch as my charcoal, just things that I would think, and I said, I can use that, old paint, house paint, stuff, that I will be given to my dad or something, and then I'll use that.
So what kind of reaction did you get from your friends and your teachers and your family when you were doing these kind of unusual works?
At first it was an odd experience. They were saying, "What are you doing? What are you?" And then they started seeing the transformation of these objects or paint supplies into traditional artwork and stuff. And it made it grow, and every time it evolves.
So you had a whole life full of creativity. When did you start doing it professionally? When was your first show?
It was during my, Southwestern College. A couple of the art teachers were noticing my artwork and stuff like that, and they told me there's opportunities to show here, to show there. One of my art teacher, whose name was Michael Snore, big mentor of mine. He was a big influence with the Chicano art movement in Chicano Park, and then Cultural Seno de la Raza. And he got me involved to do shows there. And he found other shows for me. And that time, it was in around the 96, 98, around the time right there. And then, but at that time, there was no money involved with it. I wasn't selling like to survive, so I was mostly happy to show, as you can say.
Sure.
The only thing that was selling back then was my little drawings, and my friends were like, oh, here, could you make me this? And you'll give me $1 or $2, just a, couple, just to get by.
Very interesting. So do you find that there is a political or historic message through your art, or does it become more about like some sort of graphical kind of, where do you start, I guess? What's the basis of the creative process as when you sit down to create something? What do you want to do or say?
Right now, I'm very focused in reusing items, like upcycle, they call it, or repurpose art or repurpose items to transform it into something that you want to do. And sometimes I find objects and then I right away get the idea for it, or I just keep it and save it until it pops in my head. That's what I have. I know what I'm doing for that. But sometimes I find out stuff and then I hold on until I know what it's going to be used for, and it can be old furniture, it can be just trash that people thrown away or something that I find unique, and I see something in there, but it might be for the future, like the big piece I did for Kaboo this year was a headboard piece made out of wood, but it was destroyed. It was broken in pieces, and it had termite damage, but I saw potential in it. So I brought it back to life, with my training of my dad gave me how to fix wood and repair it, refurnish it, make it brand new. And then I repurposed it into my own style and made it into a nice couch instead of a headboard.
Right?
Yeah.
Cool. It's very interesting that recycled items are really a big part of your work.
Yeah, it's something that I believe in too, because I grew up since I was a kid finding things and repurpose them, reusing them, because I didn't have the luxury of going to the store and buying supplies, because I wanted to do stuff. So when I asked my parents or something, buy me a Prismacolor set or something, they couldn't afford it. So I had to make my own or ask people to donate their pieces, or sometimes I don't even use this color, I'll take it, I don't care, I'll take it.
I know that you have a lot of patrons who are not just San Diego based.
Yes. I'm lucky that now I've been growing in my art career and getting a lot of collectors from out of state and a couple from out of country, and they're starting to rebuy pieces, not just one or two. They have 4 pieces and stuff, and they keep on looking at my stuff or give me suggestions of what they're looking for a next purchase.
That's fantastic. How did you make those connections?
Some of them were from other friends of the collector that bought it first. They saw their pieces on their wall, and then that's how it started, the little chain reaction. And the other one is Instagram is very, very helpful for my career, that a lot of people see it and they are intrigued by it. And then once they even see it in person, they see the 3D dimension on it, they even love it more. Like I had some that came out when I was at Kaboo. I've been following you. I never had a chance to go down south to Barrio Logan area or Chula Vista area, and they first time saw it and they had to pick up a couple pieces,
Great. So Kaboo is a art show that takes place
in Del Mar. And it's mostly a music festival, but They put a big pavilion of artists. Mostly it's a lot of muralist artists that actually painted on caboose banners or something like that. And they also have very local artists and out-of-state artists that they show there. And it's a whole kind of like if you've been to Art San Diego or LA Art Show. I mean, I haven't had a purpose to go to Miami Basel, stuff like that. It's like a small version of that. And it's getting bigger and bigger. So
what a great opportunity for an artist to
yes,
show their work.
Yes, it is. And if anybody has the opportunity to go check it out, definitely do so. There's emerging artists in there. There is stuff that's even some of the how do you say, Instagram artist fame, you know, like maybe you've seen them on Instagram and you might say, oh, I know, I follow him, you know, I finally get to see his work.
Let's talk a little bit about the piece that you brought in today.
Oh, yeah.
What can you tell me about
this is the Jaguar Warrior. It's an Aztec warrior. I did it for the Day of the Dead skull show at La Bodega Gallery. That's in Barrio Logan. And this is basically just because the Day of the Dead is about spirituality and bringing back, you know, it's like it comes back to life. And that does go with my theme because I use repurposed stuff. Like the piece of wood that I cut out, the design is actually a piece of thrown wood that I found. And what my main material is recycled spray can. People, they throw these spray cans into the trash or in the ground. And it was just a lot of people. There's no recycling for that in California right now because of the paint, the hazmat in there.
Right.
So what I do is I puncture it and let the air out. And once that's done, I get to cut the can into lots of pieces. And I use the top, the bottom, and marbles. There's also a straw in there. And I use every little piece in there, and I don't throw anything away. Nice. So, and then I get to build. That's if you really see my pieces, you can see that sharp stuff. That's all spray can metal, the can itself. And then the other stuff is the skulls, and are made out of plaster, and that I made myself, the mold that I, during times of my art, I learned stuff, you know, learned to do this, you know, learned to do molding, carving, mold making.
It's a lot to create one of these pieces.
It does, but once you already know how to do it, it goes pretty fast.
Cool. Well, I really love the element of using those aerosol cans. Makes your pieces very dangerous and very vibrant.
People are like, oh man, do you cut yourself? And I go, it's like the bed of nails thing, you know, like if you put your hand in a bed of nails, you're not gonna get like cut or, you know, sink in. You might get poked, but other than that, you're not gonna get cut like severely, like blood spurting out or whatever.
So tell me, where do you see your art going from, you know, everything you've done so far?
Well, I mean, I see myself keep on pushing myself in emergency, go forward and I want to go nationwide, you know.
Fantastic.
Nationwide and then worldwide. And it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work. It's not about just putting your work out there. It's actually who you know and who can back you in. It's very hard because I've gone to the LA scene and talked to them. Unless someone brings you in, it's very niche over there. It's like very like unless they know you or you have that collector that can bring you in, then you can move on to next. I could say next level, and then from there I can go to even wider spectrum. Sure. Where I can be focused in other areas and stuff like like what I also want to do is hit the I say the different mediums that are out there. You know, I just don't want to stay into one niche market.
Okay.
You know, because there's a
So
lot.
we're going to see more different types of work from you.
Hopefully, yes. It all depends on if I keep on going. You know, it's not easy being an artist, as you can know. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of marketing yourself that you have to do, because everything it takes time and money and very hard work.
So if we have viewers watching today who want to see your work, how can they find you online?
Easy. It's I have a website, www.optimusvolts.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. The same thing. It's just Optimus Volts.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in today.
No, thank you, Patrick, for the opportunity, and especially because it's not easy for an artist to get the word out of his work and
So
stuff like that.
We're happy to share your work and your artistry.
And thank you.
Welcome back to Creative Interview. Next time.